Central TV Studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Give us a call at 260-1870 in the Oakland Heart Talk and text line. You can also text us at 260-1870. Morning, Albert.
Morning, Albert.
Hey, Doug, good morning.
We're on.
We're on
1 till 10 o'clock today.
1 till 10 o'clock today.
Probably, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Saints
starting out.
And I'm going to
That's unusual.
My comment.
Something different
Something
at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, right.
At 8 o'clock on Sunday morning.
But I'm going to preface my comment by saying I love the Saints. And nobody's happier.
When they do well.
And that to be an NFL
head coach
is probably one of the hardest jobs in the world.
And
I'm not being critical
about anybody, personally or anything like that. I'm just talking about facts and records.
Make millions and millions of dollars. Fans pay $10 million
every game
collectively to enter the Superdome. They're sort of the hub of our city as far as breaking across all socioeconomic lines together. So I'm saying in the context of empathy and compassion, and not being critical. And I hope I am wrong. I hope in 7 or 8 weeks I am told that I missed the boat 100%. And that I would love nothing more but to be wrong. But under this coaching staff, the Saints, this year is pretty much done. I don't see any hope. The only small hope is that a team backs into the playoff at 7-9 or 8-10, which is possible. Which could be Tampa, Atlanta, or the Saints. We're in probably one of the worst divisions in the history of the NFL. From top to bottom. Some of the worst quarterback play ever within a division. Collectively. I just don't see any possibility under this regime that the Saints are going to be successful. I think, you remember Felton Green? He used to clean up our office. At our first office. He used to walk into our office and say, we talk about the Saints. Next year. You'd say next year.
Right.
Next year. Because the season was over. And this was off and then November. I think we're at next year. I really do. Things can change. But I'm saying based on the trends that are happening, I just don't see any possibility that the Saints being a winning team this year against probably the worst yet. And I'm looking at the sample size of head coach. He's a good defensive coordinator. But it takes a different skill set to be a head coach. And of coaches in the history of the NFL that's coached 59 or more games, Dennis Allen has the third worst record in the history of the NFL.
I'm just wondering when the Dennis Allen experiment's going to be over. I mean, he didn't win in Washington. He didn't win other places he went. I don't know why they promoted him. I don't think that he had, he's tried it already and was unsuccessful. And so why, give him another chance here, right? So that's a front office issue. You might need to start questioning the front office and what's going on with Lauscha and those guys, and are they making the right decisions? Because it's certainly not Gail Benson's decision. I guess ultimately it is, but it's hey boys, y'all just run it however you want. I'm the wife of an auto guy, and I do want to mention the quarterback play. I think I agree with what we both said early on, that he's probably a top 10 quarterback in this league, Derek Carr. The problem you have is they missed the boat on a few of their picks. This Penning kid is terrible. It's not like they're going around him and they're beating him to the quarterback. They're bull rushing this kid back. And they got him. He was a Division II player, and he was a man among boys and beat up on him and looked really good. But he didn't play in the SEC or the Pac-12 every week, or so. That first 3 yards from the line of scrimmage is the most important 3 yards on the field. And if you could give Derek Carr another second, he makes those passes. Look, he's not going to win the game with his legs. He's not going to, he may have one good run on Thursday night for a first down, but that's not his game. That might be Jameis's game, or some other quarterbacks in the league that have win games with their legs and can beat you on third down running for a first down. Derek Carr's not going to do that. You knew that when you hired him. So what you have to do is protect him, and they're not. I'm telling you, I've recorded a game from last Sunday, and I would go back and kind of slow-mo the offensive line play, and it's terrible. I mean, and then they got some injuries, so then they put this rookie in. We got 3 timeouts and a minute left to go. All we need is a field goal, and they don't know what play to run. We got to burn a timeout. Shaheed's runs the wrong route 3 times during that game. Come on, guys, that's a coaching thing. If those guys aren't ready to play, they shouldn't be in the game, and they should know what every call is going to be and where they're supposed to be. And if they don't, they need to practice longer, or they need to practice more, or they need to, run more drills. And those are the things that the coaches aren't getting those kids ready to play. But I think Derek Carr, he has the leadership skills. He has the ability to make the throws. Unfortunately, when somebody's in your face and you're getting hit and you feel that pressure from behind you, it's just a harder game. And look, our running game's terrible. He doesn't have time to throw a deep enough route. And so he's, 2 games ago, he threw 13 passes to runner Alan Kamara for 36 yards, right? Come on, really? And so and he's catching the ball and getting smashed by a linebacker because they don't have time to get the ball down the field on a 15 or 20-yard route. And so he's got to throw a timing route and just get rid of it and hope they can run under it. That's not how you have to play. I think he's not a bad quarterback. I think he's probably one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league right now. Some of the younger guys, I'm sure, will pass him up. But without an offensive line and his inability to move, the Saints are not going to do real well. That's my take on it.
Well, if there was 3 words to describe the Saints season so far, against 6 below average teams that are not good by NFL standards. The only good team I would classify would be Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I'd classify them as mediocre, underachieving, uninspired. Which all 3 of those are more coaching, and because they do have the talent. And I mean, I do agree that I think Derek Carr is probably a middle tier, anywhere from 18 to 12 as far as quarterbacks are concerned. And he probably might be a little higher because the quarterback playing in the NFL is not very good right now in comparison to
everybody's scoring under 20 points. I mean, there's not a lot of points scored. You can look at your fantasy scores and see that, the scores are lower than normal. I don't know if defense is playing better or just the offensive play is not so good. But the sad part is ineffective as we've been. We're a few kicks and a drop pass away from being 5-1.
Yeah. No question. Again, I think the 3 things that you need in an NFL quarterback today: getting the ball out, accuracy, and processing the play. Or processing, getting the ball out, and accuracy in the correct order. And, I don't know. The question with Derek Carr was he a good quarterback with a dysfunctional organization? Or was he a part of the dysfunction of a dysfunctional organization? And that was the question in signing him from Oakland. I mean, I think he had 1 winning season or one playoff appearance. You just didn't know. And it doesn't seem like, as you said, that he's I'm going to say not a dysfunctional in the sense of Al Davis dysfunction, or post-Al Davis dysfunction, but a coaching staff that has made is not coaching them up to the extent that you need to. So we don't, maybe we still don't know whether he could be successful or not. Now, you did reference the front office, and they have made wonderful picks like 2017 was the draft, was the impetus of the 2018 Super Bowl run, which ended up with no call. But since you had Marcus Davenport,
that was 6 years ago.
Right, and that was Marcus Davenport was drafted. Traded two first-round picks to pick him in the first round. Bust. Marcus Davenport was from USTA, University of Texas, San Antonio. Isn't big town football. They drafted him on potential. The next was Peyton Turner from the University of Houston. They drafted him in the first round based on potential, not his college performance. He is not fulfilled any of his potential. And then, as you said, Pennington, a small college. I mean Penning, Penning. Who was a FCS player, who was a man among boys, based drafted him on potential, but not NFL ready. And then they jettisoned Teron Armstrong, thinking he would be NFL ready, and he's almost gotten his quarterback killed. In fact, he's the one who's responsible for the AC sprain. There's a blindside hit that.
And they moved him Thursday. Moved him to right tackle from left tackle because they just couldn't. They couldn't get the blind spot. It's frustrating.
So
they're running out of offensive linemen. They had, they need to go find a couple of guys off the street because, the injuries keep piling up, and some of those guys. It makes you wonder when you have a kind of a broken locker room. Yeah, I really could go back and play, but you know what? I don't think so. Is it that my toe hurts? Sure.
That extra 2-3% intensity. I think the last thing too, which I was given perspective earlier this week, the Saints were purchased in 1985 for $72 million. Franchise. Derek Carr was signed for $150 million. I'm just giving you a little. I mean, we're talking about apples and oranges. But it's just a different way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
If Derek Carr turns out to be not who we thought he is, based on the sample size, I think that's an open question right now. Very open question.
I agree.
We're hung with $100 million guaranteed money on $150 million contract. And our only way out, there's only one way out, is that if we hit the lottery and draft a Brock Purdy type player in the third, fourth, fifth, or sixth round, and pay them $1 million for about 3 or 4 years to offset that. Like Brock Purdy's making $844,000. So that's a very narrow path for the Saints in the future. If Derek Carr doesn't become who we thought he could become. And you're right. You started changing my opinion a little bit because maybe it is not Derek Carr right now based on the offensive line play.
Well, I mean, if you look at Dak Prescott, right? He's never been great. He's been, better than average. He's good, but he's got 5 number 1 picks from major colleges in his offensive line. I mean, that's their MO. Dallas does that. Well, I'm going to use my first round pick on an offensive lineman, and we're going to have the best offensive line because all of a sudden everybody else gets better. When all of those guys from 1 to 32 at quarterback, if they have an offensive line in that extra second or second and a half to throw the ball, they're going to be substantially better. And some guys, like I said, some guys can get out of the pocket, make a play with their legs, extend the play a little bit. Derek Carr's not that guy. Drew Brees was not that guy. And so, if you can buy him some more time, I think they're going to be better. I think they'll be a lot better. They'll be better than average, and they'll be good enough to win this division. But that's a big if at this point.
Now, I wanted to talk two things. And, we do this, we're second guessing. I'm not, again, we're just lawyers. We go to our office Monday to Friday. We do our thing. But we're just second guessing from that perspective. Nothing more, nothing less. But the two things I thought about was Baker Mayfield making $4 million a year. And if you, it's like a stock, it's like a value stock. You buy a $35 million stock or $4 million stock.
Right.
That's performing comparable. What's a better deal? Now, the other thing about Baker Mayfield, if you have a bad offensive line, you need someone elusive to make time. Which you don't have with Derek Carr. The second thing that struck me watching Jacksonville, the Saints only really interviewed one serious head coach, and that was Doug Peterson. Now, I would think, and this is my opinion. Tom Branson's more cold-blooded. In other words, it's not what you did for me in the past so much,
what you're going to do for me in the future.
Right.
And I
He's
think
more of a Donald Trump, you're fired, right? From The Apprentice or whatever.
More on that end. As far as
I'm going to do what's best to make me more money.
Right. But I would say that there is, and I'm not, there's no shame in this. Just looking at this retrospectively. There was some loyalty. You have a core group that has had success. Let's keep it together. That was the thought process when I hired Dennis Allen. But if you look at it from a 30,000-foot view, who is better to hire as the head coach? A head coach who's won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback, Nick Foles.
Right.
A journeyman quarterback who won a darn Super Bowl, or Dennis Allen. Now, I know in the short term, there would be hurt feelings. On the short term, they'd say, why are you breaking this up? But again, I think a cold-blooded, I would say cold-blooded, a less
How about a leader? How about a general manager that's doing what's best for the team and not what's best for the coach?
I think what you do is you get comfortable with the people in the building.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that was the best thing at the time. In other words, we're comfortable now. But we're going to have some discomfort or change to continue this path rather than staying where we are or keeping the same track. Now I'm saying I thought Doug Peterson wanted the job. I know that.
Sure.
And I think retrospectively, you just can't. It probably turned out to be not a good choice. Because I think Doug Peterson is going to. I mean, heck, he went to playoffs last year, won a playoff game. He's going to be in the mix. He's proven it. And look, any coach who's won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback coach. And so, it's just interesting.
Yeah, he's got them all ready. They're all ready to play. Next man up, right?
So
we got a homer. We got a homer for an engineer, and he said, the Saints play the Colts, Bears, and Vikings with two of those three without their starting quarterback, and other without their best player. We can be 7-4 heading into our bye week if we want to be optimistic.
Well, we'll see.
So
we'll say optimistic. Yeah.
I'm optimistic.
Going back to the Doug Peterson deal. I think it's like if you're an employer and you see your vice president down the hall and you walk into him and say, you're not going to be promoted when I retire. I'm going to bring someone from the outside. I understand that's uncomfortable. But if you see it, and based on experience and qualifications, that's the thing to do. You do it. It's survival of the company. And there's no shame in doing it. Saying wanting to keep together. In continuity. But I think Doug Peterson was your guy.
Mm-hmm.
I have one little other idea for the Saints. Because they will be drafting high this year. There's a quarterback about 70 miles up the road who will be as good as Lamar Jackson in the NFL. So you may want to think about that.
Yeah.
Let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend warriors. All things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
I think we go through this 3 games, and I think we come out with like a 1-2 record, maybe. Catering any event. I want it to be 3-0. We can, but I think there's a good chance that we go into our bye week like 5 and 6, or no, 4 and 6.
Right.
Bijan, Jay. Like I don't know. I think we can maybe beat the Colts and maybe beat the Vikings. If they get to March, if they get a JJ back for sure, they will.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, we when the locker room, all these guys are millionaires. All these guys want to win. They only want to perform on game day. And so they get frustrated when, when the coaching's not right, when the playing's not right, when they're not winning. They say winning cures all ills, and all ills, And so I think we can get to the point where the coach can say, come on, guys, we can salvage this. The thing is, I don't think they want to play for him. I think they're just done with him.
407-2222 or visit RhinoShieldMidtown.com.
I have 37 minutes left on my computer period. After it runs out, I will switch to my iPad and send another link.
Take the rebuild that we should have done years ago instead of trying to power through with it.
Yeah.
But that means that we're going to have a worse rebuild. It's going to be a longer drought of winning seasons. But I think that might be
Yeah.
Deadlines to make claims against the builder for defense. Maybe later in the program, start of the second hour, you guys want to talk Pelicans at all? No, that'd be a little while.
Yeah, we can talk Pelicans, and I do want to talk Tulane a little bit. I want to give kudos to them as well.
Better yet, call me before you sign.
Right.
We got no callers, so whatever you guys want to cover, like.
Yeah, I've got an idea. I think I got it.
We had Elwin
Most popular person on the team, second string quarterback. Oh yeah, Tulane. Yeah, we'll do a little Tulane. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll get it. We didn't see any. I'll try to have an idea. I'm going to switch over at the break probably to my iPad. I'll have to send another link.
Visit your local Sherwin-Williams store to get the products you love from the paint experts you trust. Save you time.
Wait. I know. I figured today would be slow. That's why I was sort of talking.
At Open Heart Jewelers, we search the world for only the most beautiful diamonds. Then our master craftsmen create one-of-a-kind rings you'll treasure to jewel. It's true. Save life. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart.
United Utilities Hearts of the City program helps provide defibrillators to Orleans Parish High School teams. United Utility values the importance of all electric current restoration to a normal rhythm in the heart and in your city.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things.
I'd love to be wrong. I'd be wrong.
I'd love to be wrong. Use it to start composting instead. Pumpkins and other gourds are perfect additions to any compost pile. You can also add soil and roots from dead potted plants.
Right. Yeah, you start saying. Start doing the coaching list.
Like
Bill Belichick.
When we each share one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing? Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. As autumn temperatures get cooler, here are some simple things you can do to help out the environment. Remove
He's been making the soup.
Proper insulation to keep heat.
Groceries. He's been making he's been picking the wrong groceries.
Keep it running at peak efficiency all winter long. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing? All things legal on WWL-AMFM.com and the Odyssey app.
Yeah.
With Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Open Talk line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. I know Albert, while we're talking sports, we'll talk about Tulane. Because if this was next year, we would be talking about Tulane possibilities of making the college football playoff. 12 teams. They would be in the conversation.
No question.
We
would be talking about
what Tulane needs to do
to get in the college football playoff.
Right. Well, and let me tell you, they almost laid an egg yesterday. They got up 21-0 in the first half, and then all of a sudden they scored again, I think, in the third quarter. But then the other team came back and scored 21 unanswered points and tied it up at 28 up. It was like, North Texas is on a roll, and then they came down, scored at the end with very little time left on the clock, won the game. So, and you know what? That's what coaching does, and that's what good teams do. They win the games they're supposed to win, and they come back and man up and do what they're supposed to do. You're going to have letdowns. The thing about NFL players, for instance, I know we're talking Tulane briefly. All of those guys can play. They've been all state in high school. They've been all everything in college. Every one of those guys can play. A coach and a coaching staff gets them to play every week and prepares them to play every week. And the Saints are not playing at 100% capacity. You can see some of the efforts on the field, and they're making mistakes. They're the most penalized team in the league. That tells you that they're not on the same page. That is a coaching staff issue. That is not a player issue. The player commits the penalty, but the coaches, it's imperative that the coaches make the right decisions to where they're coached up and they don't make those mistakes and they don't jump off sides and they got their head in the game and they're focused. That's what the coach does. And we're not getting that done. Willie Fritz, on the other hand, is taking these kids that are overachievers, I think. I mean, he's got some great players, but he doesn't have the depth of a Alabama or an LSU or some of these major schools. And he's out there competing with them. I mean, Ole Miss just won another game. They're right up close to the top of the SEC, and Tulane played them tough. So kudos to Coach Fritz. Kudos to the Tulane Green Wave. It's a welcome addition to New Orleans and to Old Tulane Stadium area.
Yep, and Tulane is who they had the potential to become for all those years. The last 30, 40 years. They always had that potential to be what they are today. They go through a lot of coaches. And they had a little glimpse of it with Tommy Bowden. There were little glimpses of periodic success, bowl games. Since then, this is who they can be all the time. Much like a Miami, University of Miami, private school in an urban area. They had that potential, and it helps. It helps with name recognition. It helps, the football program is the front porch of the university.
Speaking of University of Miami, my son's at law school there, and he said he wants to go to a Miami game, but the stadium is an hour away from the school. He said, I didn't know that. He said, you can't just walk, from campus. He doesn't live on campus, but he lives close by. He said, you can't just walk from your dorm to the stadium and watch the game and hear it on the campus. And, that LSU feel when the lights are on and you can hear this crowd scream and everything else. It's an hour away in Miami. And he said, which is surprising, how they get all the fans to go and get the students to go. It's so convenient to just walk there. They do have some shuttles and buses, but
yeah, well, that was a complaint with Tulane in the Superdome, which was 10 minutes away.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's I think Tulane is who they they're fulfilling their potential, and it could be this year in, year out. And what they're doing is basically keeping a lot of the home players, Louisiana players.
Yep.
A lot of the ones that maybe LSU passed on, who are very, very good. Will play on, some of them will play on Sundays. And they sort of put the fence up, and then they build from there. And kudos to Coach Fritz. I'm happy for Tulane, and
absolutely.
So I'll tell you what. Let's Colin, let's take our early break, and we'll come back, and we'll start talking ball. People who are tired of us talking ball.
Yeah, you
We
promise.
are in football season. So, I mean, I always say, people ask, what's the number one religion in Louisiana? Well, I say, college football, pro football, 1 and 1A. So we're just going with that. But we'll talk about when we get back. Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, you can always all things we'll be right back. Here's free timeout.
WWL, home of all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Always live on the free Odyssey app. After a weekend of football,
I think we'll probably talk about little state stuff.
To lead the Saints to the playoffs, Bobby Hebert joined the Cajun Cannon, NFL analyst Mike Detillier for Second Guess. Mondays at 4 o'clock, live from the Silver Slipper.
Yeah, well, this time of year is going to really, the games are really, like a lot of these games don't mean anything now.
Yes, with the two Cajuns, Bobby and Mike. Mondays, 4 p.m., till they get tired of talking on WWL.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Join us in Odyssey as we all do our one thing. There are millions of things for our planet. Now that it's autumn, check window and door seals for proper insulation and replace your furnace air filter.
No.
Our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing? Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet.
Well, I mean, for the most part, LSU's playing for SEC championship, but that's not good enough.
Other doors are perfect additions to any
it's good.
You can
It's
also
good
add
and it's
soil and
nice.
roots from dead potted plants. And if you have a garden, be sure to add garden waste from cleaning and pruning, like stems, roots, and leaves. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. Your one thing. Get into the game this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Hey, it's Tommy Tucker right now. New customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That is $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Now, if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on all the action. The app is easy to use, a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props.
He's going to his head, too.
Parlays and more. So visit FanDuel.com/TOMMY, FanDuel.com/Tommy, and get into the game this NFL season with FanDuel.
I can tell you why. They read the newspaper clippings.
FanDuel, official partner of the NFL and WWL Radio. 21 plus the president in Louisiana. Permanent purchases only. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Next time we have one after the bye week, it would be like 15 or 16. We play the Rams in Los Angeles. That means our episode of All Things Legal would be on December 16th.
Yes. Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask for any crazy color you want. 504-407-2222. And tell them what. Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally.
On days like today, I was going to ask, do you still watch football?
Yeah, I do. I'm not, yeah, but not I'm not sitting in front of the TV doing nothing else.
53. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com. Did you know the New Orleans Public Library
I'm trying to.
events for all ages and interests?
Oh, I'm running low.
Comic books to cooking and everything in between. There's something fun for everyone. More at events.nolalibrary.org or on the NOLA Library app. Escape the everyday.
Toyota Tundra. Your addiction is Tundra is ready to take you there. Visit your local Toyota dealer or go to toyota.com today.
Do you have shoeboxes full of photos? Today only, radio listeners get VIP access to the new Photo Legacy Box. Get your family's photos professionally scanned for as low as 7 cents, which is 76% less than what other brands charge. As the world's largest digitizer, you know you can trust Legacy Box to digitize your entire collection of 4x6 photos. Everything from the embarrassing haircut you had in the 90s to photos of your great-grandma's wedding. Visit legacybox.com/value to get 200 photos scanned starting at just $19.95. Oh, and don't forget, Legacy Box also digitizes over 15 other types of analog media, so you can get your favorite memories on VHS or Grandpa's film reels from the 40s digitized too. Take advantage of this exclusive offer on the new Photo Legacy Box today and preserve your past for as low as 7 cents. Go to legacybox.com/value. That's legacybox.com/value.
Now, for all things legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Albert, one thing that's been coming in a lot, we have a lot of different issues, and a lot of things that come in, but some become more trendy than others. But one of the issues that we're sort of dealing with more often than not is co-owned property. In the sense that you have two people under a couple of contexts, or maybe more, who co-own property, and they don't want to do it anymore. Like, for example, on the family law side, you might have a boyfriend and girlfriend, which is more common, buy a house together. And when they buy the house, they're both their names is on the title, it's on the mortgage, and then they break up and they go elsewhere. One staying in the house, and one saying, buy me out, or we sell the house. Now, a lot of times, collectively, they could afford the house, but not by themselves. Hence, the one who's out the house is saying, I want to be bought out. The one who's in the house saying, I want to stay here. And a lot of that's happening more, and it's all about an impasse as to what to do. And there's a, and you can explain, there's a petition process that you'd have to undergo in order to force the sale of the house if you don't, both owners aren't on board and selling the property.
Right. Well, it used to be a little more difficult because it was if you wanted to partition the property, right? You file a petition to partition, but if you want to partition the property, it used to be where if you couldn't agree to a buyout, if you couldn't agree that, hey, look, I'll buy you out or you buy me out for 50% of the value, assuming there are two co-owners, then we're going to have the sheriff seize and sell the property and put it up for sale, a judicial sale. And so it's going to go on the market and sell for, less than its value likely. Now the legislature a few years ago has passed the law and amended the law, and you can have it sold by private sale. So you can hire a real estate agent, get an appraisal, and have it put on the market, from within a range of the appraised amount. We won't accept anything less than, let's say, 5% of the appraised amount. And so it goes on the market for the appraised amount, and then, the parties agree to a number, and then everybody takes their piece, and then they split the proceeds. That's the way to make it happen. I find it's happening not so much in the young couple, but that aren't married, but more so, Junior lived with mom, or the daughter lived with mom, and now she's still living in mom's house 2 years later, and not paying any rent, not doing whatever, and so the other siblings are like, okay, it's time for you to either buy us out or get out, and that's one of the things that we're running into. One of the things that you want to do, if you hire an attorney to get this done for you, is make certain that the person living in the home does not get to select the real estate agent. So either you offer to select the real estate agent, or you get the court to appoint one. The second thing is, you want to have in the order that the person living in the home will cooperate, will maintain the home and keep it clean when it's shown. And you see it all the time where, the real estate agent will call you and say, look, we went over there. The place was a mess. There were dishes everywhere. They didn't cut the grass. I'm like, well, yeah, they don't want to sell the house. What do you expect? So you want to make sure that the court, strongly instructs the attorney for the person living in the home that they need to cooperate with the process in selling the home. And so, you want to make sure that, we had a situation one time where they went in and said, look, we evaluated it too low, our real estate agent. So they evaluated it much higher. And so the court said, well, let's try it out with a higher value. Well, that went on for, by the time we got another hearing, probably another 6 months. Well, nobody was even looking at the house at that value. And so, come to find out that real estate agent was a friend of the person living in the home and was helping them by saying, look, we're going to value this thing way higher than the market, and therefore nobody's going to come along and buy it. So nobody's even going to come see it. So you'll be able to live there at least another 6 months or two, whatever. So you want to make sure you do a few things to confirm that the property is going to be sold. And then, look, it solves a lot of problems too, from a relationship standpoint with the sibling, or from that ex-girlfriend or boyfriend, because it's over, it's closure. You're not sharing the house. You don't have those issues anymore. You're not, okay, I got to pay this expense. You got to help me with this, et cetera. But yeah, it's a partition process, and we've been seeing a decent amount of those.
Also too, if you're making a will and you have a bunch of rental property and you have several siblings, or you have several properties, you might make, a lot of times, the will will put the 3 or 4 siblings in possession of those properties. So you might have 4 co-owners when the succession is completed. Now, you might have 2 heirs who are like, hey, we don't need the money now, so we would like to improve that rental property and make it more profitable in the future, and draw income. You might have 2 siblings who say, no, we need the money now. I don't want to take estate assets and improve the property so that we can have monthly income for maybe the next 10 or 15 years. I need our money now. And neither side is wrong. In other words, it's based on their situation at that time. But there's a lot of times there is conflicts with that, because, and also too, you might have one of the siblings who does all the work with the properties, does all the insurance, cut the grass, and the other 3 are sort of sitting on the sidelines, and that develops bad feelings. But for me, if you have like a business or a rental property, I'm not a proponent
of putting it in undivided, to let all the heirs share together. In fact, I had recently, and this case been going on for 14 years. Mom had, 4 kids that did not get along. And she was, she wanted her kids to get along. And she owned several hundred acres of property. And what she said was, I am going to intentionally have them all 4 own all this property together so they'll learn to get along. Which the sentiments of that is motherly, not wise, but, you know, it was coming from a good place. And they had been, you know, fighting for 14 years. And, you know, again, probably the best thing to have done is you would have had a stepped up basis upon death. Either you have one of the heirs buy it out, or you sell it all, give the cash to all four of them, let them go their own way. And it wouldn't be at each other's throats. So, you know, there's things that are maybe not obvious when you think about it as far as planning is concerned. They have a real pragmatic, detrimental effect by doing it in a certain way, and that's just sort of a small example of that.
Exactly. And then you got another situation where I've got one right now where the guy's got 4 or 5 pieces of property, and he's got 3 children, and he wants to, you know, leave the property. I said, you know, why don't you leave one piece of property to each, you know, and then they can either sell one that's still out there to kind of make up the difference in terms of the values of the properties in cash. And then that way, everybody owns their own piece of property. They're not fighting. You know, another situation I had where the grandchildren, there were 4 pieces